You're watching the news leader, WDAZ.
Ziegler in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And after a German magazine got all kinds of things wrong about the town, they sent a representative to set the record straight.
This is Kevin Wildman. Coming up.
You know what's going to happen.
So you can share the story.
We'll tell you about a retired Detroit Lakes teacher who's finding joy in living while dying.
We begin with some sad breaking news tonight. A high school student from Thief River Falls has died from injuries she suffered in a car crash. The State Patrol says 18-year-old Heidi Anderson's minivan slid through an intersection with Highway 32 last night and then was hit by a pickup. She died this evening from those injuries that she sustained in the crash. Anderson was a senior at Lincoln High School in Thief River. Two people in the pickup also went to the hospital, but their injuries are considered not to be life-threatening. Troopers say the roads were icy at the time of the crash. Well, over to weather now. The holiday travel season is underway as many are taking advantage of a long weekend. However, the roads are getting slick out there as a band of snow is moving through.
Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler is tracking snow tonight. Here's how much snow we could be seeing.
Good evening. A band of snow not that far west of Grand Forks beginning to move into the city. In fact, as we speak, fortunately, it's not going to snow hard all night long, but it will be snowing for a while. You can see the initial flurries just moving into town. It might briefly snow pretty hard, and then it'll snow lightly for a while. Total accumulation's not too extreme, but it will likely be enough to slicken up the roads. We'll talk about that. Milder weather tomorrow, but we do have more cold weather coming, cold and quiet weather for the holiday. Still tracking the possibility of a northern plains storm sometime next week. I'll have the latest on that, all coming up in weather.
AAA is predicting this weekend will be the busiest holiday traveling season they've ever seen. More than 100 million people are expected to drive around the nation this weekend. The Minnesota State Patrol will be increasing troopers during the holiday to keep up with all of the extra traffic. They want to remind people that even though there's not a lot of snow, keep a survival kit in your car just in case.
It can be a while depending on your location and, again, how many other folks are using those resources. So with that being said, it's still important to have all that gear and equipment and those survival kits with you at all times.
Troopers say a survival kit should include extra blankets, food, and a flashlight. And with all of the chances of weather that could impact your holiday travel, make sure you pack your Storm Tracker app. You can download it on your phone today to get the latest on weather and road conditions and closures, winter weather alerts, along with radar, live video, and hourly updates and forecasts. It's available on the Google Play or Apple Store. The holidays could take a toll on you and your family, and counselors want you to be aware of how the season could affect your mental health. Counselors at the Northwestern Mental Health Center say depression and anxiety can increase during the holiday season. Police say they also see an increase in alcohol and drug use around this time of year.
People that haven't gotten together for a while, there's financial issues, for many of us wanting to do well for our kids and our relatives on limited means.
If you know someone who may need help, Northwestern Minnesota has a crisis line available. That number is 1-800-282-5005.
A warning tonight for parents as kids are participating in a dangerous online dare. It's called Momo, and it's found on various social media platforms. A Japanese statue created by a special effects company urges the recipient to perform a series of potentially deadly tasks through threats and intimidation. GFPD says they have not heard of any reports here, but just want parents to be aware, so they've issued a warning. Police are urging parents to keep a close eye on their children's social media accounts. Well, Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton left office today, but not before dropping a bombshell. He filed an appeal of a state regulatory panel's approval of the Enbridge Energy Line 3 project. It would replace the aging pipeline that already ships oil across the state, and it goes from Canada to Wisconsin. The governor said the new pipeline will not benefit Minnesota, just other states and countries. Enbridge called the governor's appeal, quote, disappointing and erroneous.
Drivers of electric cars may soon have to pay more. Grand Forks Republican Senator Kurt Kroon wants to charge owners of electric and hybrid cars an annual fee. He says it will offset lost gas taxes that fund road improvements. He says those cars cause wear and tear on the roads too, and drivers should pay their fair share. Electric vehicle owners would pay $248 annually. Hybrid vehicle owners would pay $71 a year. That would generate about $300,000 annually.
Well, the Capitol building sits in the dark tonight, just minutes away from a partial government shutdown. While negotiations will continue, the funding for a quarter of the federal government will expire at 11 o'clock our time. Discussions hit a snag once President Trump announced he wanted $5 billion for a border wall included in the plan. This would mark the first time in 40 years that the government will have been closed 3 times in 1 year. The Supreme Court won't let the Trump administration begin enforcing a ban on asylum for any immigrants who illegally cross the U.S.-Mexico border. The court's order stops the president's proclamation that would have automatically denied asylum to people who don't go through official border crossings. President Trump says he was acting in response to caravans of migrants making their way to the Mexican border. Wall Street has had its worst week in more than 7 years. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended down another 414 points today, capping off its deepest weekly plunge since October of 2008. The NASDAQ fell another 3%, officially closing in its first bear market since the Great Recession. Analysts blame the heavy selling on deepening fears of an economic slowdown and an overly aggressive Federal Reserve. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had 2 cancerous nodules removed from her left lung today. It appears doctors were able to remove all of the cancer. The 85-year-old liberal icon is expected to stay on the bench, which she has served since 1993. Ginsburg has also survived colon and pancreatic cancer. And Caribou is trying to ease fears after a data breach. Credit card information for customers of more than 250 shops may have been stolen earlier this year. That includes several local stores, including here in Grand Forks, Fargo, West Fargo, and Detroit Lakes. If you used a credit or debit card at one of those locations between August 28th and December 3rd, your information may have been stolen.
Altru will soon be providing more options for patients. They're launching express services across Altru and a new walk-in clinic in East Grand Forks. The walk-in clinic will be for patients who want to be seen quickly but don't have an ailment quite severe enough for the ER. The clinic will cost about the same as visiting a family doctor rather than the price of a hospital trip.
So we want to make sure that those patients have the care when they can and at different locations, and just knowing that we're all busy and we want to get into that care when we can. So that's really what we're looking for as an organization, is to provide that access for our patients.
The walk-in clinic will open on January 2nd, and all of the other services have already started. Well, just in time for the solstice, a special tree has been built at the North Dakota Museum of Art. The solstice tree is made up of more than 2,000 paper plates. Kids in Grand Forks colored the plates with themes of the holidays. Hanukkah, Christmas, and even foreign language designs are on the tree.
But you also see languages from other cultures as well, and other countries, and it's just a fantastic visual representation of the diversity within this community.
The tree will be up at the North Dakota Museum of Art until January 18th.
Setting the record straight.
Apparently he felt that he had to make stuff up. I don't know how this came about. I can't look into his head.
An exclusive interview with the magazine who published a fabricated article about Fergus Falls.
From the region's only locally owned station, you're watching the news leader, WDAZ.
Oh, hi. I'm an LED light bulb, and I'm not the only one around here. This homeowner is saving hundreds since replacing old incandescents. We'll all likely be here more than 20 years, saving about $100 each. Oh, I'll turn it down. Yes, I'm dimmable. Go to the store and buy some LEDs like me, or visit Ottertail Power Company at otpco.com/goled.
Hey friends, remember getting us for the holidays? You're like, whoa, Ninja Turtles! Get that feeling again with the Honda Pilot during Happy Honda Days.
It comes standard with Honda Sensing, a suite of safety and driver assist features.
Or get tubular in the Honda Ridgeline. It has this lockable in-bed trunk.
You mean pizza compartment?
Ugh, so full. Get something you'll love during Happy Honda Days with deals on the Honda Pilot right now at your Honda dealer.
It takes a team to bring the story home every day. It takes a leader to build a legacy of trust.
As the only locally owned news station in the region, we're there for you at every turn.
We're your neighbors, telling the stories that matter because your community is our community.
So when you need to reconnect, remember that we're working every day, just like you.
Trying to make a better tomorrow.
WDAY News, the only locally owned news station in the region. When severe weather strikes your community, be prepared with a WDAY Storm Tracker team. Our weather experts have the experience you need to keep you and your family safe, bringing you the most comprehensive coverage in the region. Get updates and alerts specific to your community on TV, on radio, online, and on the Storm Tracker app. When you need to stay informed, turn to the only name that matters, WDAY Storm Tracker. You're watching the news leader, WDAY.
The Germans have come back to Fergus Falls. Yesterday, we told you about a German magazine who published an article filled with fabrications about the city.
WDAY News reporter Tyler Ziegler sat down for an exclusive interview with a journalist from the magazine who is determined to set the record straight.
This week, the world-learned Der Spiegel writer Klaus Rolodius filled many of his award-winning stories with fabrications. No one knows this better than the community of Fergus Falls. In a piece about the small Minnesota town, he lied about a sign saying Mexicans keep out and called a city official a virgin who'd never seen the ocean. Those are just a few of the insulting inaccuracies. Rolodius has since resigned. Now, another representative from Der Spiegel is here to set the record straight.
It's beyond my imagination how you could come up with a fabrication like this on the desk. I don't know. Apparently he felt that he had to make stuff up. I don't know how this came about. I can't look into his head. It has to involve some almost criminal mastermind-like, ability to deceive people.
Christoph will spend the next few days getting to know the real Fergus Falls, preparing to write a new piece that accurately represents the town. Meanwhile, Der Spiegel is working to find out what went wrong and how their few dozen fact-checkers missed the inaccuracies.
I can't really say whether it's a fact-checking process, but we're looking at everything right now. We're trying to figure out what we have to improve in order to make sure this never happens again.
As for the community of Fergus Falls, they're quick to forgive the German magazine and are ready to move on.
At the end of the day, we're going to take the high road. What we're going to do is it's going to give us the opportunity to tell the real story. The story that he didn't want to hear because he had his own narrative in his mind. But in the end, the truth comes out, and that's the moral of the story here.
Will Christoph capture the true essence of this small Minnesota town nestled along the Otter Tail River? Well, we'll find out sometime next weekend. That's when his article comes out. In Fergus Falls, Tyler Ziegler, WDAY News.
Christoph will spend the next few days in Fergus Falls, head back home for Christmas, and then come back for another week of research.
Well, back to weather where snow is moving toward the northern valley. How will it impact travel tonight and possibly even tomorrow?
Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler is tracking those impacts.
Wake up to First News on WDAZ.
Won't this be pretty for our granddaughter to be?
I'm going practical with a college save account. B&D will match our first $200.
Great, but use a bow. No reason practical can't be pretty.
College Save, helping you achieve more.
Nothing holds more promise than a seed. And when it comes from Peterson Farm Seed, it's backed with a promise from us. We'll sell no seed we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm, so that growers like Mark can keep a promise of his own, to teach his kids how to care for the land, their family, and their community and build a future that extends generations. Grow your promise. Grow Peterson Farm Seed.
During the Ram Big Finish event, there's no better time to get a great deal on the trucks with best-in-class towing. And the all-new Ram 1500, 2019 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Hurry in before the Ram Big Finish event is finished.
Or well-qualified returning FCA lessees get this low mileage lease on the 2019 Ram 1500. Or competitive truck owners get an average $13,522 in total values on select 2019 Ram 1500 models in dealer stock.
Every day I wake up and wish I could go back and relive that moment, that choice, knowing the pain and suffering I caused, that I killed 3 of my best friends. You live with the choices you make, and some choices change where you live. I'm begging you, don't do what I did. Make a decision today to always drive sober.
Oh, look, a college save account for you, sweetie. So you can afford to be whatever you'd like. Maybe a doctor like Mommy.
Or a teacher like Daddy. Ew. Here's your doctor, honey.
College Save, helping you achieve more.
Follow us on Twitter, WDAZ TV.
Good evening. Talking snow tonight. This is not a snow photograph, however. This was the rime from Fog last night. Picture taken today down in Sargent County. I mean, that's calendar quality stuff. That is an amazing photograph of snow coating. Absolutely everything it could find. Nicely framed photograph as well. We do have a little bit of snow coming in tonight. Conditions and concerns about this snow. Yes, it is accumulating snow moving east-northeast tonight. Snowy, slick roads overnight and in the morning. We're not getting a lot of accumulation, but enough to make the roads a little bit on the slippery side. Here comes the snow. This is actually snow that's not reaching the ground. This is high-level snow. Some of this is beginning to reach, but right in here, this is the main band right in this area, and it's just about to move into Grand Forks. Taking a look at the North Dakota DOT camera from the Devil's Lake Rest Area, this picture just made in the last few minutes, and then we've got some reports of about 1 inch of snow in Devil's Lake, so it is snowing there. A little further west, again, taken about 15 minutes ago, this is US 2 in Rugby, snowing pretty hard, a mostly snow-covered road. Accumulations of 1 inch or 2 in that part of North Dakota. And a little further south, a little lighter snow, but it has been snowing on I-94 down around Ariska. That's in between Valley City and Jamestown. So yeah, it's snowing out there. 17 the high, 11 degrees the low. A little cooler than average high, a little warmer than the average low today. Looking at our downtown cam, not snowing at the moment, but it won't be long. Currently 20 degrees with a south wind at 7 miles an hour. So this snow shower will be moving into the air. We fast forwarded here to about 11 o'clock. It'll keep snowing through till about 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe 3 in the morning. Looking for a general 1 to 3 inches, and a lot of it's going to be 1 inch or 2. It's not all going to be the upper side. Eyes are always drawn to the big number, but that's a range, right? After 3 a.m., it mostly just stays up in northern Minnesota and make additional accumulations beyond 1 to 3, I think will be a possibility tomorrow up in northern Minnesota. The rest of the area will gradually turn breezy, and eventually that northwest wind will start sending down some colder temperatures for tomorrow night and Sunday, and then on through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Looks dry, but a little bit colder. Snow tonight, 1 to 3 inches. Temperatures are going the other direction. A slow rise tonight to around 24 Grand Forks, 28 in Devil's Lake, and as warm as near 30 in some of the southern parts of the area tonight. Southeast winds at 5 to 15. Tomorrow, just a few flurries in the south, breezy in the afternoon. Fargo will get a little melting in the afternoon, and more than that, more than like a lot of melting down around Wahpeton at 35. We're going to reach close to that, about 31. Grand Forks, 30 Devil's Lake. Might see a few drips coming off the eaves, but not a lot of widespread melting. Then the weather, as I said, will begin to settle down. 31 tomorrow afternoon, but only 19 for a high on Sunday. A little breezy on Sunday as well. 16 the high on Monday. And now the focus shifts to the Christmas holiday and the potential for a storm. Christmas looks nice and quiet. Increasing clouds Sunday, becoming overcast during the day. We think if the Grand Forks area will get a snowstorm, it would be Thursday into Friday. And then it will be getting very cold after that. The storm may miss us to the south, but it's still too early to know for certain.
WDAZ News on AM 970.
It started on a bridge in 2005. Since then, thousands of runners, joggers, and walkers have taken to the streets of Fargo-Moorhead. Now it's time to lace up again. Join the 15-year celebration for the 2019 Sanford Fargo Marathon. Register today at fargomarathon.com.
The smartest tools this holiday season at Nissan's year-end event. Take home the power to do more and save big on every Titan, featuring best-in-class standard horsepower and torque. Plus, every new Titan is backed by America's best truck warranty, so you can be a Titan of the holidays.
Save up to $13,796 on the 2018 Titan, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But you gotta get it now before it ends.
It started on a bridge in 2005. Since then, thousands of runners, joggers, and walkers have taken to the streets of Fargo-Moorhead. Now it's time to lace up again. Join the 15-year celebration for the 2019 Sanford Fargo Marathon. Register today at fargomarathon.com.
Everyone's talking about Kimmel. They said he's the most important host in late night.
Really?
They said he's late night's clearest voice.
They said I was extremely well endowed. Oh, no one said that?
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
Seeing the world through new eyes and the earth from miles above. Not just breaking news, but breaking barriers. Now that's a job for a Girl Scout.
The news is brought to you by Jeep.
Tonight, a unique message about Christmas joy. And it doesn't come from a choir, a jolly bearded Santa, or a Hallmark TV show, but from a woman in hospice after battling 3 different cancers just this year alone.
Rather than a last-ditch treatment, she chose time to prepare herself and her family. As WDAY News reporter Kevin Wallivan teaches us, teachers never retire, they just change it up a bit.
Oh my goodness, he's beautiful, Casey.
A hospice nurse's new baby sure made Lori's day today.
Thanks for bringing him along.
And one thing became very clear as a hospice social worker, a chaplain, and nurses sat down to check on Lori Meyer-Olson.
I'm doing okay.
A Detroit Lakes teacher of 35 years.
I still have my voice, so. Yeah.
Everyone in her cozy house in the woods sat back and became a student of living life.
Can you think of a better word than joy to describe it when we wonder about joy and what it means? I mean, it's just like there isn't anything else to describe it. And it's way above happiness.
The past year's been rough. 3 different cancer diagnoses, months apart.
The good thing about having done the surgeries and all the different treatments is there was all that time to think about what if this doesn't work. And everybody else was thinking it was going to work, but I always wondered about the other possibility. So when we got to the point where we visited the last time with the oncologist, I was all ready to say, stop, we've done enough.
And so in late fall, Lori entered hospice. And she's been very open about her journey as she comes to the end of her life.
One of our Christmas cards has the joy to the world. And I can hardly make it through that song any other year. It's going to be even more special to hear it this year because it has a whole new meaning in what I think about joy.
It will be hard for anyone to ever forget Lori. And to be sure her voice and spirit are close to family.
You are my joy, a breath of fresh air, the happiest part of my heart. You're so full of life and will bloom in this world as you've already done from the start.
She has recorded children's books. Her voice. That comfort, never far away. From Detroit Lakes, Kevin Wallen, WDAY News.
The news is brought to you by Midco Business.
Starting Friday, everything's on sale during Home's 3-day sale. Like this Century sofa, now just $6.99. Plus, get free financing for 60 months and free shipping on purchases of $4.99 or more. The 3-day sale, only at Home Furniture.
Every year before this countdown, there's this countdown. The final days of the Built for the Holiday sales event. Send 2018 off with the best savings of the year on every 2018 model on the lot. Now that's worthy of one of these. Take on the new year with a new Ford. The countdown before the countdown is on now. Get over $4,000 in total savings or lease a 4x4 Escape for just $219 a month. Only at your local Northland Ford dealer.
Find great gifts for everyone on your list during Menard's Christmas sale. Keep your home and cars clean with this 1.5-gallon shop vac. With a 2-peak horsepower motor, it can tackle tough messes, wet or dry. $19.99. Works Power Tools make great gifts. This compact circular saw features a lightweight and handheld design. $39 after rebate. This cordless 20-volt lithium drill kit is $58.99. Plus, a Menard's gift card is always a great gift idea.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
MSUM's Dragons Live Coaches Show is on WDAY's Extra all season long, bringing you the exclusive interviews, highlights, recaps, and behind-the-scenes access to all of your favorite Dragons teams. We'll get you caught up with all things Dragon athletics. Watch the Dragons Live Coaches Show this Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. on WDAY's Extra.
WDAZ wants to meet the outstanding athlete from your town. We'd like to recognize student athletes from all over the region for not only their hard work in sports, but also their dedication in academics and community service. Go to WDAZ.com to nominate your athlete. We're looking forward to coming to your town and meeting your student athlete. Watch Hometown Stars every Wednesday evening at 6 during WDAZ Sports. Sponsored by Ag Country Farm Credit Services.
Now at Home Sleep Express, get 6 years zero-interest financing on any Tempur-Pedic. Plus, Home will give you a $300 gift card, free delivery, setup, and a 120-night comfort guarantee. Tempur-Pedic with 6-year interest financing at Home Sleep Express.
The news is brought to you by Ford.
Hello again, everyone. The UND hockey team doesn't play for another 8 days, but right now is a crucial time for players and coaches. Coaches are across the country recruiting, and current players are trying to get their bodies right for the second half of the season. It's no secret that the Fighting Hawks were banged up throughout the first half, and each of their winter plans will be different.
It was different for every guy, I think, especially with our team right now. We were pretty banged up. We were, barely able to put a full squad out there some nights, and it's really up to guys being mature and saying what they need to do for themselves. Just your hips are bad, your back's a little sore, take a couple days off, but if you're pretty good, keep skating, obviously don't go really hard, but stay in shape and keep everything good to go, obviously, for the second half.
UND will be back in action on December 29th when they host the U.S. Under-18 team in an exhibition game at the Ralph. Well, the early signing period for the UND football team was overall a success. North Dakota added 23 recruits from 7 different states across the country. The majority of the recruits, though, are from right here in the Midwest. Head coach Bubba Schweigert believes their conference change had a positive impact on the minds of players in the Midwest region.
It had a huge impact. We're where we belong. This is the right fit for our university and the right fit for Fighting Hawks football to be playing in the Midwest in 2020, it changed our recruiting a great deal. We could go into schools and homes and let coaches know that now we're recruiting in the Midwest and we play in the Midwest, and it matches. Because the bulk of our team and the heart and soul of our team is going to come from the Midwest.
21 of the players that will be coming to Grand Forks are from Midwest states. Well, the NDSU women's basketball team played a heart-stopper today at Stetson. Game tied at 54 late in the fourth. Michelle Geislerava is open and knocks down the three. Bison lead by 3. Now tied at 57. Bianca Fitzwadi with the shot clock ran down. She banks it in. Hatters take a 3-point lead. NDSU a chance. They got the ball. Geislerava attempts the 3, but she's fouled, so she'll go to the free throw line to shoot 3 shots. The 95% free throw shooter misses the first. She would make the next 2, but the Bison fall 60-59, and the UND women's team would win a double overtime thriller 100-97 over San Francisco. Well, the Gophers playing their final game before the holiday break, hosting North Carolina A&T. Jordan Murphy was outstanding. He's going to slam this one home off the nice dish. He had game-high 30 points. Minnesota up 8 at the half. Second half, they poured on. Murphy feeds freshman Daniel Arturo. He had 20. Later in the second half, Amir Coffey here from long range. He buries it. The Gophers roll in this one 86-67 and are now 6-0 at home. Now we head down to Texas. The Wolves taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Minnesota with a great inbounds play. Karl Anthony Towns finds Derrick Rose on the backdoor cut for the easy 2. T-Wolves down big, trying to mount a comeback. Tyus Jones going to give it up to Towns. The big man going to knock it down from 3-point range. Cat ended with 13 points, but it was too little too late. After setting a screen, Davis Burton's going to get it and drill the triple try there. This one was all Spurs. San Antonio defeats Minnesota tonight 124-98. And a big game this weekend for the Minnesota Vikings against the Detroit Lions. Again, the Vikings control their playoff potential. They need 2 wins to guarantee themselves a playoff berth.
All right, thank you, Mark. Coming up, one last look at the forecast. Snow is moving its way into the Grand Forks area. John will tell you where the slick spots will be tonight and tomorrow.
You're watching WDAZ News.
It's funny how the biggest ideas often make our impact smaller. How looking closer at soil has helped us grow our thinking. And by creating digital tools that make resource use more precise, we use less. Like many industries, agriculture uses data to evolve, but you might not see our greatest innovations because they help keep what the earth has given us right where it belongs. We give back by moving forward.
MSUM's Dragons Live Coaches Show is on WDAY's Extra all season long, bringing you the exclusive interviews, highlights, recaps, and behind-the-scenes access to all of your favorite Dragons teams. We'll get you caught up with all things Dragon athletics. Watch the Dragons Live Coaches Show this Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. on WDAY's Extra.
It takes a team to bring the story home every day. It takes a leader to build a legacy of trust.
As the only locally owned news station in the region, we're there for you at every turn.
We're your neighbors, telling the stories that matter because your community is our community.
So when you need to reconnect, remember that we're working every day, just like you.
Trying to make a better tomorrow.
WDAY News, the only locally owned news station in the region. Now for your final look at tomorrow's weather, here's the WDAZ Storm Tracker recap.
1 to 2 inches of snow in Grand Forks by morning, maybe 2 or 3 up in northern Minnesota by the end of the day tomorrow. The light snow and flurries will be coming to an end. Grand Forks high tomorrow, 31 degrees. A little breezy late in the day, breezy and colder on Sunday, but travel conditions should be good. Through Christmas and the day after, we are still watching at least the possibility of a snowstorm late next week. Keep watching. We'll let you know what happens with that.
All right. Well, from all of us here at WDAZ, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Good night.